Hello, welcome back to Sports Card Connections again, and this is my I Have Been a Bonehead video. So, if you saw my previous video, I opened the gift box from our friend Laura in England, and she's making these fantastic coasters, the uniform numbers, and I totally blanked on this Angels. It's Nolan Ryan. Ugh. And of course all you Ryan fans are thinking, yeah, ding dong. Yep. Beautiful. They're absolutely fantastic. I don't have much memorabilia because I'm usually a card guy, but this one's going right in there with the little bit that I do have. My Nolan Ryan numbered coaster, and I don't know what in the world I just wasn't thinking. Nothing was clicking. Anyways, thank you, Laura. Nolan Ryan, who else? So this video, what we're going to do is going to look at some through-the-mail autographs. Now these are ones that I've gotten in the past. So just some I picked at random. I am joining which started actually November 1st, with a group of guys on YouTube that are having a contest to get any cards signed you can through the mail only, and cards from the 90s. Any sport, celebrities, anybody into non-sport stuff, anything like that. So I've already sent out my first batch, but I just thought I would show some of my ones I've gotten in the past. And I do have a return. There it is. And it's from St. Petersburg, Florida. This will not be for the contest because this is one I've been after for years and years. I never could get him because one of the things I've been doing on the side is working on a 1968 top set signed. And finally, I've gotten Jose Cardinal. I have tried him and just couldn't get him, but now I've got him, so I'm very, very happy. I came back from Florida, and it's one of the last of the first series of 68 Topps Angels. I didn't have. I have the other ones. He's also the only one who's still alive. And of course, when you're doing a set that old, that's what you're up against. Fortunately, I started in the 1980s, so I got a lot of players that are no longer with us at the time. I haven't bought any autographs. Mine have all been through the mail, or on a couple I got at shows. Orlando Cepeda, Brooks Robinson, Willie Stargell. The rest of them are all been through the mail. Very, very happy to have back Jose Cardinal. So let me show some of the other cards I've gotten in the past, some baseball and football. And we'll start off with a 1973 Topps, Bruce Van Dyke of the Steelers. A very, very funny story. So I found Bruce Van Dyke in the phone book in Pittsburgh, and I sent the card. And it came back signed. Pretty straightforward. Until there was a note in there that said, Hi Jeff, this is Bruce Van Dyke, signed your card, but that's the wrong Bruce Van Dyke you sent it to. But that person lives next door to my girlfriend's parents, and I was over there to pick her up or a date or something like that, and they walked over and said, here, somebody sent you a card. And he signed it. I mean, what are the chances? A zillion to one? But I got him. So there it is. Steelers guard Bruce Van Dyke in the 1973 Topps. One of my favorite players as a kid, and I know a lot of people like the 68 Topps football design. There's Elijah Pitts. And I loved Elijah Pitts. Just a great guy. Nice cards. There's his 68 Topps. Got him when he was assistant coach with the Buffalo Bills back in the 80s. I'm also working on the TCMA set that I featured in my first video. Of course, trying to get it to... Anyways, here's Masanori Murakami, the first Japanese in the major leagues. And there he is. He signed that one. I sent it. I have his address in Tokyo. And that was actually the first one I got back for my TCMA project. He's a real, real nice guy. I also went to a game with him when I was in Tokyo and had dinner with him. He's just a super, super nice guy. This one is a tough one. Bobby Marcano, former Angels minor leaguer, had a great career in Japan. He's one of the best foreign players to ever play there, but Bobby Marcano died at 37 of cancer. So I don't think there's too many of these out there autographed. He's on a lot of cards during his career with Japan. He's on at least one minor league card, I think at Double-A with the Angels. But the Angels weren't promoting him, so he left and went over there, had a great career. Anyways, this was a nice one I got back from him. And probably in about 1986 or so. Back to football. Don Mumma, a 55 Topps All-American. And one of my dad's favorite players, who was a huge UCLA fan. This one, he lived in West Los Angeles. It doesn't seem to want to focus. Anyways, he was Ronald Reagan's pastor when Ronald Reagan was president. So that's a 55 Topps All-American. We have another TCMA. Jack Malouf. Malouf never played in the majors, but when I sent this to him, he asked if I had any more because his son collects cards. And so I sent him another one along with the other Cebu Lions, his teammates that are in the set. And Malouf, he finally made the majors as a coach. Got the Lee brothers. Leon, I got while he was still playing in the 80s. Leron, I never could get until this year. But I told him, would you please sign it? I've waited a long time. So I got both the Lee brothers. And they both had great careers over there. And Leron, of course, was a major leaguer. Leon made it to Double-A with the Cardinals before he joined his brother in Japan. Back to 68. Here's something that was really a problem before the internet. There are 3 players in the 68 top set who never played in the majors. So they never appeared in the main source we used to use, which was Jack Smalling's autograph book, and Mickey Abrabano never made it. Also Mo Ogier on the Twins rookie card and Frank Peters on the Orioles rookie card. None of them made the majors, so they weren't in the guide. I was left looking all over. Finally, at the advent of Google, I found Mickey Abrabano in Florida and got this one signed. Another guy told me Cisco Carlos is very hard, but he came right back easy for me in Arizona. So that was a tougher card, just from the standpoint of address availability back pre-internet days. Lou Johnson's one of the few I got at a show. He was very entertaining, because everybody thinks I'm with the Dodgers, but as soon as he saw this card, he said, Chicago Cubs, my favorite team. I said, you're kidding, Lou. Everybody thinks you with the Dodgers. He said, yeah, but my favorite team I played on was the Cubs. And he was on the Cubs twice. He's on the Indians, the Angels twice, and the Braves, and the Dodgers. But Cubs is what he said. Real nice guy. This is a reprint of a 33 Gowdy, because I didn't have any originals to send out, but I sent this one out to Babe Herman. Great, great, great hitter, and he signed it for me. And it does not want to focus. But nevertheless, he signed Babe Herman at the bottom, real nice, on a 33 Gowdy reprint. Another guy from a show, Lou Dials. He was there actually selling this card set, and a friend of mine and I stood talking to him for probably 2+ hours and told us lots of stories of playing in the major leagues and the major leagues and the Negro Leagues. He said he had a chance to be the first black player post the 1800s, but that the LA Angels in the Pacific Coast League, Bill Veeck was the owner. He said he wanted to sign him, but the commissioner told him, no, you don't. He said it was all right. He said I couldn't have done what Robinson did. But one of my favorite autographs, Lou Dials, one of the Chicago American Giants, and that card. As you see Matty Alou behind me, the Alou brothers were my favorite players as a kid. There's Felipe. I don't have Matty, and I don't have Jesus, but I got Felipe when he was coaching with the Expos. Matty, unfortunately, died of diabetes a few years ago, and Jesus I've never tried. I don't like to send to the Dominican. I've only gotten one back from there, but I'm looking for him to be in an event or something eventually. Back to football. There's a biggie, Walter Payton. Got him while he was still playing. That's a 1982 Topps. And, of course, Walter died in his 40s. And was really surprised when that came back. It came back fast. But see, I got it in the mid-80s when he was still playing. Back to baseball. Zoilo Versailles. Zoilo covered the entire card with his signature, which was fine with me, however they want to sign. I ran into a guy at a show who collected Twins cards, and he was shocked I had Versailles. He said, "How'd you get them?" I said, "Well, I put it in an envelope and mailed it to his address in Minneapolis." He sent it back. And it turned out that I guess what this guy was doing is sending some weird things to players. You know, probably they felt like they're being stalked, so he was having trouble. And myself and another collector told him, no, you just make sure you put in the self-addressed stamped envelope. Yeah, Zoilo came back in like a week. Of course, that's his 1 year with the Dodgers, though the pictures with the Twins. He tripped on third base at Dodger Stadium and wrenched his back, and he was never the same after that. 1965 American League Most Valuable Player. Hall of Famer Lance Allworth on his last card, 73 Topps. I know he charges now, and I think it's not cheap. But I got him no charge back down in San Diego where he lives, and came back relatively quickly. Here's a 1960 Darris McCord. And Darris I got because his daughter went to the same church as us, and she said, "My dad's going to be in town. You want him to sign a card?" So I handed her a 60 Topps, and there it is. I'd asked her, "Did your dad stay in shape?" And she just gave me a look. No. When he quit playing football, she said he just quit working out and was over 300 pounds. But a great defensive lineman for years with the Lions. Picking up the pace here a little bit. Here's a 1934 Gaudy Charlie Grimm. Got that in person at the 1979 Scottsdale, Arizona show. My dad actually went up and got it for him. Charlie Grimm was there signing. There's a 1934 Gaudy. This one's a little infamous. People who know his story will know why. There's also not that many Donnie Moore cards signed, but there you go. An 85 Topps with the Braves. His first card, a 78 Topps with the Cubs. Of course, Donnie had some real serious issues in life. And my wife, ironically, worked with his wife at a shelter home for abused women and kids. And if you don't know Donnie's story, look it up. Then you'll realize the irony of that. But he got these for me in person. I was at the show, or at a fundraising event for the shelter home, and Donnie was the guest speaker. Unbelievable. But there you go. 2 Donnie Moores. My very first baseball card was a 1968 Joe Torre. And it was on the front of a cello pack, and I'm looking through the cello packs, and it just said, "He looks like a nice guy." When you're a little kid, that's how you think sometimes. And I've always loved Joe Torre ever since. So glad he made the Hall of Fame. I feel he should have made it as a player, but his Yankees managerial record, of course, pushed it over. Just got this recently. Gene Howard. Turns out he lives around the corner from a coworker of mine that I've worked with for 20 plus years. And I'm telling her, a former NFL player lives around the corner from you. He does? Oh, clueless. But yeah, Gene Howard, very nice. He signed this one and a 73 Topps with the Rams. 69 Fred Hill. Fred lives near me. And he owned a McDonald's franchise. I don't know if any of you people know his story, but his daughter is what the Ronald McDonald House was created for. She had cancer when he was playing on the Eagles. The Eagles helped with some of the bills, as I understand it, but they said, well, let's see what McDonald's can do for you. And the creation was the Ronald McDonald House for Fred Hill's daughter, and yes, she survived. Well, I kept taking this card into his franchise, and he was never there, and then one time I left it at home, we walked in, and he was there. So finally I just said the heck with it and sent it to him, and he signed it right away. If you like color, to me, this is one of the most beautiful cards. That's Willy Crawford. I just love the Dodgers had this powder blue that you see on the 68 cards and some of the 67 cards. They wore it only in 67. It's lighter than their normal royal blue. And boy, I just tell you, that's a work of art. And I got Willie to sign that for me. And just one of my all-time favorite cards. Same uniform. Love it. To Jeff, good learning leads to good living. Nate Oliver. You gotta love Nate Oliver. Nate Oliver's on a YouTube where when he was coaching in the California League for the Dodgers, and he was riding in the car they were carpooling to their next game, and the players were asking him all about his career. It's great. You ought to watch. He's just a positive, great guy. Love that card. Another one of my all-time favorite players with the all-time nickname, No Neck. There's Walt Williams. Walt used to sign as with 1W. And that was his trademark, 1W for Walt and Williams. For Laura in England, a player I know she really likes, Mel Stottlemyre. Got that when he was still coaching for the Yankees. That focus on this camera is just a pain. Anyhow, yeah, super signature on that 68 Topps. Beautiful. Another reprint I got, Hall of Famer Lloyd Weiner. He even put his nickname Little Poison and on a diamond star. Absolutely fantastic. Another one of those Dodger ones. John Roseboro. And his wife had a radio talk show in Los Angeles. And the guy who owned the company I worked at the time, was a guest. And I had sent this to Roseboro and nothing was coming back. And I said, would you please ask her to have him send my car back? And she said she would. And it came back about 3 days later. So there it is. That picture taken at Vero Beach, Florida. Just a few months ago, I wrote to Eddie Robinson, 100 years old, and got 155 Bowman signed to me and one for Laura in England, her being the giant Yankee fan. And I'm glad he did, since he just died a month ago. But there it is. Great signer. A lot of guys got Eddie Robinson. And there he is on a 55 Bowman with the Yankees. Vince Evans, had a long talk with him. He recently spoke at our church. And I asked him, Vince, do you like to do through the mail? Oh, yeah, no problem. I know I've seen a lot of guys get him. And so I said, okay, I got some cards I'm going to send you. He lives about 30 miles from me. And there is his 1981 Topps. Very nice. And he signed that one, and he signed a USFL card and his 82 Topps. Got all three. My all-time favorite Japanese player, Junichi Dragons longtime super catcher Tatsuhiko Kimata. And when I sent this to him, he sent me back the card. He sent me back the $1.50 or whatever I put in there to buy postage. He also sent me some Dragon's chopsticks and a little Dragon's towel, plus my card. So I thought that was great. A tough autograph due to his early death. Mike Reinbach out of UCLA. Was up briefly with the Orioles. Topps never printed him. Went to Japan, very successful with the Hanshin Tigers. But he died in a car accident. And it's just, before 1990. So I don't think there's that many signed Reinbachs around. I know his son has been looking for his Japanese cards. Some guys were helping him get those. But I was really happy to get Reinbach. And I've never seen another one. Maybe there is. Hopefully there is. Here's a Cracker Jack reprint. And I got Ed Roush. It's interesting to get a guy that played in the 1919 World Series, but there you go. And he signed this one for me in Indiana. Just not going to focus. Really happy to get that. The first Major League pitcher I ever saw, Jose Santiago, Game 1, 1967 World Series, Cardinals Red Sox, and he was the starting pitcher for the Red Sox. That's the game Lou Brock got 4 hits in. And great autograph. Got Jose in Puerto Rico. Just going to have 3 more. You're going to do Japanese cards. You better get this guy. Not only is he constantly besieged with requests, but he signed my card. He sent me back a letter on team stationery, which he also signed, telling me he hopes he signed my bubblegum card correctly, and thanking me for writing him. Wow. Sometimes O will sign with English letters, sometimes he'll sign with Japanese characters, but his autograph works both ways. There you go. For an American, he did it this way. Number 1. Number 2. Here's a 1950 Isamu Uchiyo, who probably most of you watching have never heard of, but Isamu, or Sam, is an American from L.A., and one of the nicest guys ever. He is still with us at 92. And a friend and I got to go over to Sam's house in Gardena, California, and sit down and talk about his Japanese career for about 3 hours. And I'm always looking for a card. I finally got one, and I had color copies made and sent him a bunch to keep and asked him to sign one. And there you go. His daughter said he has arthritis in his hands, a little hard to sign, but boy was I thrilled to get that. Isamu Uchiyo, he was a backup shortstop, and I don't think he's on that. I've seen one other card, just a picture of it. So there we go. It's a 1950 with the Hankyu Braves. Sam Uchiyo from L.A. My final card is my all-time favorite player in football, the great Eddie Metter, who should be in the Hall of Fame. And I know a lot of guys doing the through-the-mail autographs and videos have mentioned they feel the same way, and so do I. So there he is. How can you make an all-decades team and not be in the Hall of Fame? I don't know. Ask the NFL Hall of Fame. But there he is, a 68 Topps Eddie Metter, and that is the very 68 Topps I pulled out of a pack at 10 years old in 1968. I got a better one for my set, but that was my first one. There it is, and I sent it to him, and he was so gracious, sent it right back. He's a great through-the-mail autographer, and just a really, really, really nice guy. I've met him once. Boy, was he nice to a little kid who was telling him how he was his favorite player, and he just smiled, nodded. He was doing an appearance for the Rams at a Montgomery Ward store. So that's just a few I've done. So for the guys that are on my team, for the 4 teams for the autograph project, yes, I've already got going. As you see, I've done mostly vintage. I've never sent 90s cards before, but I will this time. I've already got 1 batch out, more going out this week. And for everybody's doing it, hope you enjoy it, and thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.